Hello everyone, my name is still Our Silvia and I'm still the manager of Carix Motorsport. Today is finally the day when we took our Silvia S13 with the LT5 engine out of our first test. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe, like the video and leave comments with your thoughts on our test because we are making this content exclusively for you. Let's go! I woke up at 4 AM. We broke the gas pedal, we broke the clutch, everything is breaking. It's the compressor. That's nonsense. A stock Corvette really behave like that? This car has a long story, especially about these specs. Tolia has been dreaming about this for 5 years. We disassembled the car in Moscow, took it to Kazakhstan and bought the engine in St. Petersburg. Then we finally brought everything back to Moscow and assembled it for good. Today is the day we are taking it out for testing. You can learn more about it in the first 2 parts of this series, but today is everything about the test. Today is just the decisive moment. Either the car runs and we can further turn it into champion, or doesn't work and I'm going to hit the bottle. In essence, today is a make or break day for us. If the car runs, we'll do minor fixes and turn it into a championship winning car. If it doesn't run, it would be a big blow because we have invested a lot of time here and we may have to move on to the plan B and maybe even turning the body into a simulator. We are testing the engine and the weight distribution because we have got 2 main issues here. First, the engine management. We are still running on the stock ECU. We have already altered the wiring and Motec ECU, but for now we are testing on the stock system to see how the throttles handle. The weight distribution. That's our second issue. Based on our estimates, we are looking at 60-40 split. We have just slapped things together, so we'll put the car today on the scales. We don't even know its actual weight yet. We are aiming for around 2,750 pounds with the driver, maybe 20 pounds more to have some buffer. The goal is a weight distribution 55-45, but right now we have 60-40 and 2,865. So we have loaded up the car with extra weight to get a sense of where we are. And the result will dictate the car's futures and our team's fate. And also how the winter goes for us, and also Tolia's mood, because he's been waiting for more than 5 years. He's already been pacing by the gates in 7 AM and calling us, "Where are you guys?" I suspect he didn't sleep at all last night and was anxious. I woke up at 4 AM, for real, man. That's normal though. I would have probably done the same after waiting 5 years. Personally, I've never waited for anything that long. But this is the kind of day where you can finally get behind the wheel and drive. This isn't just quick roll out, we are going for serious runs. I've got 20 tires and 200 liters of fuel. And Tolia plans to push the car non-stop today. Right now, we've got a bunch of small issues. Of course, we already know we have some problems with the clutch. It's engaging at the floor like there is air in the system. We have changed cylinders, extended the road, but today we just don't have the time. We have set specific configuration that seems to work, but in my opinion, this is still catching air, so we'll try to fix it. I'm also not happy with how the handbrake works. It feels weak, so if you pull it, it works. But if you start moving it, you can feel that there's nothing good, so you can drive with it, but there's a problem, it's not fun. Also, we don't have windows right now, so I don't know how wind, smoke or other elements will behave. Then, instead of oil catch, we have a bottle instead, and for the coolant overflow system, we also have a bottle. We have already driven it like this and it seemed fine, but I don't have idea how it would perform in racing. I assume the oil catch will hold up, but I doubt about the water and the pressure. I like it working. Basically, we have got some few unresolved minor issues to fix. We'll sort them out after the test or during the test because they won't let us drive peacefully. It's the usual situation, nothing new, but regardless, we have got to drive. The weather is great, track is booked from 10 AM to 8 PM, so we'll just do that. Yeah, I just want to drive it already. Of course, a prototype isn't fully finished yet, but we have adjusted the suspension, so it should work somehow. Lose the belt! I hit my elbow as soon as I got in, though the throttle got stuck. Something happened there. What? It didn't release? Yeah, I got stuck at the limiter. Check the brake pedal. It doesn't work at all. I tried to brake and it did nothing. The throttle got stuck to the floor. And that's dangerous. But the steering wheel seems to turn, so I can drive. I didn't get to really test anything yet. Everything is braking.
It's revving by itself.
How is that?
I had the same issue. You release the gas, but the car keeps
And
going.
what could be?
It's the compressor.
That can be.
I'm telling you, let off the gas early. You'll hit the finish line and Tolly will be ready letting up. Turn her off. Turn off the car. Again, you drive and let it off and the car keeps going. It's crazy, yes. This isn't a ready-made car.
A store Corvette would never do this, man. Can we go now?
Okay.
I don't know.
We can pump it. It was leaking so much that maybe we can do something.
Okay, let's put something new. This battery system is a crap, man. Doesn't work. It's sucking air. The bottle isn't airtight. I think we need to install a proper tank.
No, it has a valve here. When the pressure rises, it releases the excess, but it also sucks it back.
Exactly, the older tanks does that. But I think this is sucking in air. Look, when you try to control it, it's just impossible. The wheels are either misaligned or something off. And the clutch doesn't work well either. It only engages when you're almost hitting the floor. Near the finish line, the car kept accelerating for a few seconds and it didn't lose RPMs until I shut it off.
And did you know that?
No, I haven't seen it before and it happened twice. I pressed the clutch, but the car keeps rolling. The brakes are already overheating, but the car still keeps going. I haven't really been able to drive it because the clutch doesn't work, so I can't feel the car at all. And I'm afraid to push the gas because I can't shift properly. I'm worried about breaking the gearbox. Well, as we expected, after the first run, some issues came up. Problem number 1 is the clutch. It engaged at the floor and shifting during hard driving is really difficult. Problem number 2 is the soft handbrake. Tolia says it works, but it engaged too far down the line for his liking. The third problem, the most puzzling one probably, is the throttle not releasing. Tolia accelerated, pressed the gas, but when he let off at the end of the drift, the car didn't drop the RPMs and just kept going. So he shut it off, everyone's safe, but we have got a problem. We'll deal with that today. Another thing is that the car started overheating. We have a rough idea of what's causing it, and I think we'll fix it. So we have 4 main issues: clutch, handbrake, throttle, or the gas pedal, and the coolant tank. We'll fix this today, and I think we'll be good to go. What bothered me the most was what Fyodorov said. Abramov has a supercharger and his car did the same thing. You let off the gas and 2 seconds the car keeps going. That's nonsense. I don't believe that a stock Corvette will behave like that. That's dangerous. You're driving on the highway, you let off the gas and the car keeps going? That can't be right. A stock Corvette really behave like that? Just too much power. Car couldn't handle it, he even broke the pedal. Need a new one.
Tolia show up and say he tried to kill me. We ask who, and he says the car. What happened? He says I'm driving, finished the course, crossed the final line, and the car just kept going. I hit the brakes and nothing. So I shut it off, restarted, and was fine. So what's the issue? But then when we started looking the gas pedal, I realized the range of motion has shortened 50%. So you couldn't see it behind the dash because there's a potentiometer. So I started unscrewing things. Maybe potentiometer has twisted and is revving up, like it wasn't returning fully. I took apart the linkage and potentiometer came out. So I thought, okay, it's not the potentiometer. Turns out that on the Tilton we have a limiter that had backed it out. The limiter was set backward, so the pedal position has been adjusted and you can set a new zero. And this thing just got out of the place. And the zero position was actually 40% of potentiometer. And that's why the car was revving by itself. When he turned it off and restarted, the throttle recalibrated, but the pedal's range was still shorter, so he didn't feel the power. We are hoping he'll feel it now.
So we already tackled 3 problems with the car. The first problem was the clutch. We installed a larger master cylinder. We swapped out the makeshift coolant bottle for a proper flow tank. We also upgraded the handbrake cylinder. The throttle issue was unexpected. So we started gathering information. The guys, Fyodorov, mentioned that large engines tend to keep running after releasing the gas. It's normal, according to him. But Sanya, from whom we got the engine, said it should never happen. Everything was fine on him. So we dug into it and discovered the throttle wasn't opening all the way. Tolia was surprised by this and said, I want more. Forget the handbrake and the clutch. Let's go. I haven't experienced a full 800 horsepower yet, and I want it. So we had to pick up the pace. So we fixed that issue, and all 4 problems were solved. We had one more test session, but the biggest issue was the time. Fixing all the problems that we had, we understood that this takes time. And the day has, of course, a limit. And when understood everything, it was already 6 p.m., leaving us just with 2 hours. We're heading to Krasnoyar next, so either we drive today or we go to Krasnoyar feeling down because we don't know about the car performance. Tolia won't be able to relax, and we neither. So that's why we put in maximum effort to fix everything right the first time. We didn't have time for a second attempt, so we used the most effective solution, even if they weren't the most comfortable, just to give Tolia at least 1 hour of driving because 20 tires won't burn themselves. everything worked this time. Handbrake, clutch, gearbox, everything. Overall, the handling was actually decent. The engine is crazy powerful. On 5th gear, it goes at 2000 RPMs. It's crazy. I realized I accurately placed the car on the track this time. You feather the throttle, press it, and instantly responds. It's really funny. But it's way too loud. I feel like I'm going deaf from it. For real, it needs at least my racing helmet to block the noise. And we definitely need to install windows because it's just impossible to drive like this. The noise is just overwhelming. And also I'm driving through my own smoke. The smoke is coming from behind and I'm entering my own smoke cloud.
So what if you need to compare with JZ?
Look, we need to quiet the car down a bit. Actually not that much. Maybe some exhaust tips or a little bit, you know? And I'll need to get used to it and keep fine-tuning. But I like it that many supercharged V8s feel like you are driving like a sledgehammer. But I didn't get that feeling here. The chassis moves a bit, but it doesn't matter if it's a JZ or whatever. As I can feel, well, it doesn't spoil the handling. We can keep working on it, maybe shift the weight around, but overall the car feels good.
And then what is missing?
We need a bit more feedback from the steering. We are planning to move the control arms forward. A little more feedback will help. And maybe the steering wheel kicks a bit, but that's probably because the tires are old. Or maybe we need to bleed the power steering fluid. But overall, everything works now.
And do you feel emotionally fulfilled from this? I mean, from this test?
Well, I got to drive it and everything works. Now we just need to keep working on it. I'm satisfied. I'm calm now. I think it's worth trying a V8 with a turbo or supercharger. With the turbo, it will be quieter. You'll be able to drive it, it'll be quieter for real, with a little bit more power. Well, we'll go to drive. It looks like Tolia is pushing the car to the limits. And honestly, I'm pleased with how predictable the car is. During some runs, I can see him really playing with it. He is oversteering heavily and trying to pull the car out. The transitions he's doing, he does it only sometimes with the S6. The car is holding up, he hasn't spun out or gone off track once. So I'm really happy, I like it. The only problems we haven't addressed yet, and we definitely have, is the exhaust noise. The guys are saying that when the car passes them and turns around, their insides start shaking from the vibrations. So even Tolia say, I'm done for now, it's too loud. So soon we'll be installing a muffler to quiet the sounds down. Maybe we can do it on titanium or stainless steel. That, of course, depending on the weight. If we can meet our weight goals, we'll go stainless steel. It's cheaper and faster. At the end of the day, we could answer 3 fundamental questions for ourselves. First, the car handles well, really well. Yes, it needs some adjustments, but fundamentally, it's driving as it should. Second, the engine is working super good even with the stock ECU. Third, the car's weight is better than we expected. Right now, with Tolia in it, the car weighs around 2,710 pounds, but we don't have windows, hardware, etc. I think we'll hit 2,800 with Tolia in it. The weight distribution is currently 59% at the front axle and 41% in the rear axle. But if we add some weight right now, we'll go to the rear. So we are expecting 56, 44 kinda. Well, something similar. So overall, I can say that the project is kinda looking successful. Of course, we have had a bunch of small tasks like balancing the brakes, installing the floor mats, softening the handbrake. We installed the largest cylinder, so now we need to find a compromise between too soft, too stiff, and a lot of other minor tweaks. But the car isn't overheating, and while the oil is running a bit hotter than we would like, that can be solved with additional fan. All in all, we are exhausted. It's been a stressful day, but emotionally, it's been a roller coaster. At first nothing worked and we thought it was a disaster, but at the end everything was amazing. Our next test will be in racing conditions. We are heading to the drift competition in Peshatnik, September 15th, 17th. There will be a mix of beginners and professionals, and as I like it. The track will have concrete barriers and walls. And guys who are starting, we are gonna try. We'll be running on stock ECU and preparing it to meet regulations, installing windows, fire extinguishers, a firewall, and other things. We'll make the necessary tweaks to identify any serious issues that might arise in competition. By the end of this year, we'll know whether or not we are using this engine for next season. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like. And by the way, how much horsepower do you think we're making with this setup? Leave your guesses in the comments and stay tuned. Thanks everyone.